Hello, everybody, and welcome to Alternative Future Radio. This is the Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. And, well, we're going to be discussing all sorts of different subjects. Basil has got a lot of specialities, I've got a few specialities, and between us we've got some that we know nothing about. So, we don't really know where we're going to go with this. We've not even picked a topic for today. That's how professional we are. Absolutely no topic whatsoever. Basil, pick a topic from the list, please, quickly, before everybody rumbles us.
Perhaps just an introduction of what the show's going to be about.
Okay, well, it's called the Out There Hour. So we're hoping to discuss anything that somebody would say is completely out there.
Yeah, whatever you can't get on mainstream media.
Pretty much, yeah. Probably everything from, well, the and finally stories on the news to stuff that you just won't get on the media at all. We're going to touch things from governments and what they're up to, all the way through to ghosts and poltergeists and fluoride, any funny business,
alternative
energy, the unexplained generally.
Absolutely.
We're hoping to get some guests on the show to talk about all manner of different subjects, from UFOs to water fluoridation and everything in between. So,
well, there are a few that have promised to come on.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
shall we name them and shame them and make sure that they have to come on?
That's what I think we should do.
It would be the prudent thing to do. Name and shame the guests in advance.
Well, we're hoping to talk to Celtic Gold.
Celtic Gold, yes.
Yeah, gold broker.
Okay.
In Ireland, in the southeast.
Lovely.
Good investment.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
Yeah, and Repudiate the Debt.
Right.
A campaign.
We should have him on just to explain the word repudiate, I hope.
That's the first step, I think.
I think for me, so.
But I'm getting the impression he doesn't want to pay the debt.
I think that's probably a fairly safe assumption.
Dotted around the country, there are a lot of eco farms and
yep.
Permaculture, is it?
Yeah, you've got a few people lined up who are into permaculture, ecology, sustainable living, all that kind of shenanigans.
And there's quite a few of them going around, and there's a lady in Roscommon, she does workshops, she doesn't charge any money, which is always good.
That's a good price.
Which is always good.
That's one of my favourite prices to pay for anything.
There's a man, Sensible Money.
Yeah.
The website. He's got a plan for the economy. He's going to save us.
Excellent.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, that's it for the show today. See you all next week, maybe.
And I've forgotten his name, but he's a lovely fellow.
Right, we can't name and shame him then.
No.
We can implicate him.
He has promised to come on.
Okay.
Let me think, who else is there? Alternative energy. I can't talk very much about that at the moment. I just need permission from him. But
okay.
It's basically running your house for €100 a year.
That sounds cheap.
Again,
sounds affordable.
It sounds very, very good.
Sounds nice. I'm sure we'll have lots of questions for him on how he's going to do that.
And most definitely, Aisling Fitzgibbons, the anti-fluoride
campaign
from Kerry.
There's a couple of people out there. We also got James lined up, O'Sullivan, for talking about his political system. Is he in the pipe work?
The difference between he is, very soon. The difference between common law, and legal jargon, I think.
Yes,
basically. And he has got an idea for running your own system of government within your own county,
like a local democracy type system.
Absolutely. I think there could be a lot of merit in that. I don't think he's hammered out the finer details himself yet. But and also, as we're talking about James and Aisling, there will be a couple of talks going on throughout the country over the next couple of weeks. The 21st, I think, in Kerry, and the 24th in Dublin.
Yep.
And there'll be a presentation on fluoride, common law, alternative energy, and a comedian.
Aha.
For a bit of light-hearted relief at the end of it.
Now, do you happen to know where people can find the details for that? That would be part of your in-depth research before we started.
That would be handy.
Yes,
It's on my Facebook page at the moment.
Brilliant. Is there anything people can search for to find your Facebook page?
Basil Parle.
Just search for Basil Parle and look on there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's probably going to be a few sites out there, and maybe we'll link to some in the bottom of this video if we can find them in time.
There's going to be some advertising for it, but hopefully, possibly on Monday, James might come on to tell us more about it and give us more details on that.
Brilliant stuff. We're currently not going to be putting out the show live, but in future we might do, because then we can have people calling in. So if somebody listening to this wants to call in and you can arrange a time with us for when we're recording, currently recording rather than live, then contact us via the website, which is alternativefutureradio.com. There is a contact us button on there. And if you want to come on the radio and talk about, well, whatever it is you want to talk about, whether you're an expert in something or you just want to tell us that we're all wrong, it's all good. So contact us via there, and we'll let you know the next time we're going to be recording, and we can just Skype you into the conversation.
That's it. That's the important thing.
It's like an interactive thing.
We don't judge. We don't censor.
No, there's no censorship at all. Just don't say fuck or bugger.
Yeah, this is what you won't hear on Joe Duffy.
Yeah, I keep saying, who is this Joe Duffy guy? I have no idea.
Gatekeeper, you don't want to know.
All right, okay. I haven't got a gate anyway, so it's good for me.
Any topics for today, Mark?
Well, let me see. I think my favourite topic at the moment has got to be the European Union and the shafting of Ireland and Greece and a few other countries as well by them.
The thing coming up now is the referendum, the treaty.
Yes, the treaty amendment. I'm not even sure what the real name of it is. The fiscal treaty something.
Yeah, it's no.
It's obviously been well publicised.
The answer is no.
Yeah. The answer for me, at least,
to anybody who hasn't
no.
made up their mind yet.
Yeah, just vote no. It's safer to vote no. Yeah.
If they want you to do it, don't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Remember Lisbon.
Remember yes for jobs. How's that working out for you? I think that's why I've been tweeting on my automated Twitter system. I tweet Enda Kenny and a few other people every hour or so, actually.
Good. Oh, very good.
And I say, voted yes for jobs. How's that getting on for you? Is that working much? So yeah, yes for jobs. That was a classic one. What does that even mean? Yes for jobs.
It's yes for installing meters on your home. Yes for having inspectors coming down to your house.
Because the inspectors and the meter people, they all get paid, of course.
Right. So
yeah,
that will be the jobs.
Yeah. However, aren't these people being paid by the European Union? So it's kind of more government jobs. So they're solving the unemployment problem by hiring people themselves rather than actually stimulating the economy.
And the money will be going to the mega banks.
Obviously. I mean, where else is it going to go? I mean...
Well, they need it. It's like charity, but in reverse.
It's like charity, but bad. Yeah. Oh, no. So, yeah, I mean, I've never really been a great fan of the European Union. I think a lot of years ago, when I didn't know anything about it, I was one of those people who say things like, oh, it's really handy. You can go to Spain on holiday and you don't have to change your money. And that's really the extent of most people's knowledge of the European Union. They go, oh, well, I don't have to pay any duty if I buy a new keyboard from Germany. And yeah, that is great. That is all very well and good. But we actually had that under the common market rules. We didn't need to join the European Union to have that. We already had that with the very first European treaty.
Well, having lived through it.
Yeah.
Being here now for 20 years, having started with the punt, I was quite happy. Everything was going well.
Yeah.
Got into the euro. My God, look at this.
Look where we are now.
Look where we are now.
I know. I mean, the European Union, because it's a socialist union, and there's no two words about it, because all of the countries in Europe are mostly socialist.
When you say socialist, communist.
Socialism is really kind of a watered down... It's a democratic version of communism, is basically...
Whatever tag is on it. Marxism, socialism, it's pretty much communism.
It's not great. I'd have to say, it doesn't strike me as being a great system.
It didn't work out well for China or communist Russia.
No, it's not worked out very well for many people,
North Korea.
No. yeah, North Korea, where all the people are starving to death, while the government are all sat eating,
that's the one.
They have Christmas dinner every day, but the people are all starving.
Is Manila communist, I wonder?
In Philippines, I don't think it is, but I think it's sort of a bit socialistic in nature. I'm not entirely sure.
There's something going on there.
It's very corrupt, so it could be.
Oh, absolutely. I posted a link on my Facebook. You probably haven't seen it because I know you don't look at my Facebook.
Not anymore, no.
No, I know that. But they're so poor there. Although there is electricity, they can't afford it.
Yes, well, that's kind of the
majority of the population cannot afford electricity.
Well, at least they're all equal, though.
Equally poor.
Equally poor,
equally desperate. So what they're doing now is they're putting Coke bottles in the in the roof, filling them with water and a little bit of, I think, chlorine or some chemical, and the sun traps the light. And it lights up the
yes,
room.
Yeah, it's just like a funnel, a light funnel type thing,
which is nice and everything, but I don't think it will work now.
It's not great when you live in a 40-foot container to start with. It's not a great place to start from, in fairness.
And with the climate in Ireland, and I'm just thinking leaky roofs. And
Also, the fact that we only see the sun for about 2 weeks every year
exactly.
in July, maybe. So a friend of mine's got a great description of communism. He says it's basically somebody who's got nothing and wants to share it with everybody.
Absolutely.
That seems to be the system for most people who are involved.
Can you explain to me how the power companies in that country would rather to be so expensive that the general public can't afford it? I mean, how do you run a business like that? How does that work?
It just doesn't make sense. A great deal of what seems to be happening on this planet today makes very little sense, because surely they could lower their prices so that people could afford it.
That's what I'm saying.
But then I suppose they would look at it and say, well, maybe it's a gamble. Maybe more people won't take us up on it. It's one of those price discovery mechanism things. Maybe they don't lower it in case the only thing that happens is the people who already have it just pay less and they get no new customers. But it seems unlikely, and people are quite keen on having electricity. It's been around for a while now, and it's seen as a necessity in most places.
It's pretty shocking in Ireland that people are saying they can't pay their electricity bill.
Yeah, exactly.
And the ESB doesn't mind. If you can't pay, don't have it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are lots of disconnections. I've forgotten the numbers, but there's an increasing number of disconnections in Ireland, aren't there?
An ordinary person would be paying about 142 monthly is the figure I'm getting.
I only wish mine was. Mine's usually about 300.
And I've heard of people are up to 600, 700, 800.
A friend of mine not far from here paid 600 this winter.
And could it be that that's the customer they want, the 600, 700, 800,
and
they don't want the rest of us?
Yeah, if you can run up a bill for 600 and pay it, then you're their ideal customer.
So it's about paying.
Yeah, I think probably so. Yeah, I mean, the people who, a bit like the banking system, you have the lemons, the oranges, and the plums. You've got the lemons who've got no money whatsoever, the oranges who have a little bit but spend it every week, and the plums who stick a lot of cash in the bank and sit on it. And basically the power companies, I think, are the same. They don't want lemons, and they seem, not so keen even on oranges these days. They kind of want the plums a little bit more. But it's a very strange system. I'm not sure how any system that's supposedly capitalist can survive working like that. It makes no sense whatsoever. Which then brings the question about, if it's not a capitalist system, then what the hell is it? Or is it going in some other direction? Because I can't work out why shops, especially in Ireland, would rather not sell something for an absolute fortune rather than reduce it and sell it for the real or more standardized price.
This seems to be the system in Ireland is quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
If you can't pay,
then you're done.
We don't care about you. We're only interested in who can pay. Maybe it's a new form of capitalism that we don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you get capitalism to a level where it's really top end, then really what you've got then is more fascism.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where we are now. I mean, fascism, from what my understanding of it is, it's kind of capitalism at the top end, merging with government at the top end, so that the very rich people do quite well, everybody else can go to hell, and the corporations and the government are very inseparable. They merge into each other.
That's ringing a bell with me.
Yeah, I mean that's what I read as the definition of fascism, and that kind of sounds quite familiar.
That sounds familiar, but at the same time, the way our health systems are run, and the way our unemployment system is run, that's very much communism. Very much so.
This is the quandary. It's strange because we've got communist stuff at one end, fascist stuff at another. It's very weird.
It seems to be a mixture of the two.
But from what I've read, I've been reading a little bit of Trotsky's work recently, among other things, to try and understand, what's going on. And it reads like a history book of the last 20 years rather than the previous 20 to when he wrote it, And from what I gather, it sounds very much like socialism creeps in where capitalism fails, because when you've got very little because you didn't succeed under the capitalist system because it gets too corrupt, then you start thinking, well, wouldn't it be better if we all had the same thing and it was all equal and good? So people tend to sway towards socialism when capital's on its way down. Then it seems, historically at least, the socialists always fall to bits at the last minute and never actually manage to take power. And the people that seem to take over from them, and this has happened in more than one country from what I gather, are the fascists, who are seemingly a lot more organised because they're mostly corporate in nature. So they've got a command structure and they know what they're doing. And they basically storm in, tell the socialists that they'll, come on board with them and basically just take over the reins. And then you end up with Mussolini.
I think what you're describing is an organised system of control. You're herded into one into fascism, and then obviously that's not good. You herd it into communism.
They only ever last for so long. It's a cyclical thing.
Herd it back into fascism.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the system we've got now, the whole world is in a load of debt to each other. I mean, the logical thing in my mind would be, why not write off debts that you owe each other to start with?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I owe you 10 quid and you owe me 10 quid, why wouldn't we just say, let's not owe each other any money? That makes sense, especially if we're paying interest.
Funny you should say that. That was what Sensible Money was saying. He's saying if you could just a debt-free lump sum into the central bank in Ireland.
Yeah.
This is his idea. I mean, I think there's something in it.
Yeah. I mean, the Bank of Ireland, although the money here is supposed to come from the European Central Bank, last year they phoned in their masters in the European Central Bank and said, yes, we found a small hole in a bank on top of all the other stuff. It didn't even make the news. And, we need another 50 billion to plug a little hole that we've found.
Yeah.
And the central bank in, where are they actually? Are they in Stuttgart or somewhere? I'm not sure where the European Central Bank's based. They basically said, seeing as it's such a small amount, you can just make it yourselves. So basically all they did is typed it into their computer, we've got an extra 50 billion euros, and then proceeded to dole it out to some bank or something.
Well, now, funny you should say that's what Sensible Money is saying. He's saying that it's just typed in.
Yeah, they can do it. Yeah, they just type it in.
It's not
real.
There's not lorry loads of cash being sent over on a ferry from the European...
I mean, I think that the numbers are... I think there's something like 3 or 5% of all money is in cash. That's all.
That's all.
It's tiny.
It's digital money.
It's all digital, yeah. And if you owe somebody 50 billion, I mean, you're not going to deliver it in 50 euro notes or anything. I mean, you're talking about a football stadium for the money.
That's what it would be. It would take a long time to move. We'd notice.
We'd see that convoy and probably rob it, in fairness, to be honest with you.
Definitely.
I think I'd probably be tempted to rob that convoy, to be honest. Just take a little box off the back. I'd be all right. That'd be fine.
Anything on EastEnders last night, Mark?
EastEnders last night. Well, you know me. I do like to keep up with the programming. Yeah. Now, what was I? Actually, yes. There's been a big theme on it for the last 2 weeks.
It's murder, death, depression.
No. They've actually been punting the idea that it's okay to be poor. You might not read it.
It's good to be poor.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine to be poor.
Oh, yeah.
You might not read it into what they're actually saying, but there's lots of little quips that they use and ways that they speak. Yeah, that is what they're putting on there. I mean, for example, I was watching it last week, and this black woman, Denise. I'm quite au fait with this. You should watch it, actually. Watch it with a pen and paper. Don't watch it for entertainment.
Watch it to see the agenda.
She was talking to somebody in a restaurant about having no money, and they actually toasted poverty.
Right.
They said, here's to poverty.
Right.
And then the other woman said, oh, I'm not really into poverty. I'd like to be really rich. But then they laughed about that. But poverty was serious. But
what a nonsensical idea.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's obvious like that, and sometimes it's not. But I mean, they drop in little hints. For the last couple of weeks, they've been saying stuff like, well, at least you've got your family, and you've got your friends close to you, and that kind of thing. All the stuff that basically a crap economy can't take away from you.
The family and friends all hate each other, I noticed in EastEnders.
A lot of that goes on as well, yeah. I mean, the overriding idea with a soap opera is to make most people's lives, the ones on the soaps, look so bad that you're glad your life isn't that crappy. That is the whole concept of soap operas. Present people who are just awful, and then you'll go, well, at least I'm not as awful as, that bitch or those people.
There seems to be no moral compass in those.
Not really, no. I mean, it is supposed to be entertainment as well, so there is an element of nobody wants. I mean, drama has been described as real life with all the boring bits taken out.
Well,
I mean, it's supposed to be like that.
It's life imitating art.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think children growing up, teenagers, they're copying what they see on these programs now.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying,
I agree.
That's the way I should act. I should have dramas in my life.
Yeah. I know. No, I agree. Now, anyway, I'm going to just break for a little song, and we'll have a little bit of a Tinky Winkle, and we'll be back in just a minute. Here is 8 in 1, and I'll Be My Mirror.
There was a tiny Asian woman screaming in the street today, and she was screaming at a person that she obviously hates. She was so loud we heard the screaming with our windows all rolled up, and we looked down at the street to see who she was screaming at. But there was no one on the sidewalk, so we all looked back at her, and we saw in her homeless hands she had a 1960s mirror, a pretty plastic girly one framed in a purple case. She was screaming at herself, and she was spitting at her face. what she'd done. And the light turned green and someone said we ought to put her in a song. I feel sorry for that woman as she stormed off in the day with a bitter frozen enemy who will never go away. And so many of us hate ourselves but never shout in rage. We never get to hold a mirror, we never turn the page. And I'm lucky I've got people who will hold me in the night. And I'm lucky that you love me, and I'm glad we never fight. And I'm lucky that I like myself, but late at night I doubt. So I'm scared to look at mirrors, just in case I start to shout.
Okay, that was 8-in-1, Be My Mirror. We're playing some Creative Commons released music on here because we haven't got the rights for proper songs. So if you don't like it, you know where to go. But some of this is actually pretty good, to be honest with you. We've got a good few songs lined up.
Which brings us to SOPA and the recent atrocity from Sean Sherlock, my old friend.
You should probably, because everybody would be interested in explaining Sean Sherlock and your small involvement with him. You must explain that story because it's absolute classic.
I'm not going public with that at the moment.
Are you really sure?
I think first of all, do people even know what SOPA is? What he's done?
Well, this is it. I mean, again, like so many other things, they bury it in boxes and boxes of documents that nobody realistically can read unless you've got a team of 20 lawyers working for you.
Well, he has suggested on his Facebook page that he's presenting us with a 180-page document with 87 questions that we're all meant to sit down and read and have a committee to discuss what flavour of tyranny we're to live under.
Tell me, if they've already signed it in, which they have, I believe.
He has, yeah.
And they've already written the documentation.
Exactly.
Why is he posing 87 questions? How are we? Who's going to answer these 87 questions? Is it us?
And about what? It's already done.
What? Yeah. Why is the guy who wrote the document posing questions?
It's typical ministry.
It seems to make very little sense to me, to be honest. But an increasing amount of things make very little sense to me.
He's pretending he's listening now and he's doing something about it. There's nothing to do.
No, exactly. It's been done.
The law is passed, but I wonder, do people really understand what that implicates?
Like so many laws, on the face of it, it doesn't sound like it's going to turn your world upside down.
Exactly, yeah.
But the problem is, what might they do with that power later on? I mean, when people signed when they voted for, should I say, the Patriot Act and the Victory Act in America, they didn't imagine that they were going to set up an internment camp system, which they then duly did.
And search and fondle little children.
Yeah, all that lot. Signed it in without a thought. They thought, well, it says that we might do that. We've got the possibility, we've got the facility to do that. But that doesn't mean that we will. That's the way they sell it.
It's only for the terrorists.
The tourists.
And then you discover you're the terrorist.
You're the tourist, yeah. But, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, on the surface of it, it sounds not really like a great deal of different from the existing copyright laws. Because if you play music, like we were playing earlier, if you play music and it's not yours and you're not paying to play it, then you're in the doo-doo. So that's not really changed. Copyright law's been around for like 100 years or so, I imagine. And if you have a website with copyrighted stuff on it or any kind of intellectual property, then you are also in the doo-doo. And from what I can gather from my weak understanding of this law, all they're doing is they're making it illegal for people to give you links to other people who have copyrighted stuff. That's why people are saying that they're going to make things like Google and YouTube and wherever you become, potentially illegal or conducting illegal activity, because YouTube might host a video of yours, which you might put a clip on from the news, but because of the new law, YouTube become liable, not just you. But then people are saying, well, on Google, you can Google anything. You can go on Google and type in,
I know that,
free software
it's
or whatever.
It's not as easy to share with your friends. I might see something on the news, something I've been talking about, and it's proving a point, and I want to share it on Facebook. I want to show people. Can I do that?
Under copyright law, you're already not allowed to do that.
Well,
even before SOPA, you weren't allowed to do that.
Now, though, that SOPA is...
Well, now, you see, before SOPA... and actor.
We don't call it soap.
Soper, actor, or whatever. Whatever it's called. Copyright Nazi Act. Before that came into effect, you were committing an offence. After it came into effect, now even Facebook are committing an offence by allowing you to do it. It's a third-party law. From what I can gather, I may be wrong. I'm sure somebody will tell us if we're wrong, but I believe that's the way it's going to work. So therefore, if you go into Google and type in free software and you find a result and go to it, Google then become committing an offence.
Well, this is very bad.
It's very hard to stop that kind of thing because the internet's so massive. How on earth are they going to stop that without stopping everything? And I think that is the worry that people have. Maybe they'll just limit it and turn YouTube on and into a TV channel, which is, I think, their intention anyway. Turn Google into a, the government interweb or something. It's not going to end well if they implement all this stuff. But now they've passed it, they've got the facility to do it.
They do. I would believe they do have now the facility to create a Chinese-style internet where you have government-approved sites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't go where you like on the Chinese internet.
No, not at all. No, they have. What's that software they have? Green Dam or Green something it's called. They have a piece of software they install on everybody's machine.
They can just block out the sites that they don't want you to visit.
You can do that here. You've always been able to do that here. The problem with the Chinese system is that they've got, I think it's 50,000 people working full time just monitoring people on the internet.
Oh, but they don't mind that. They don't mind spending money like that.
This is it. I mean, it'll get the unemployment down. We'll hire 50,000 people.
Another great way.
And it's just a fantastic way out of, recession. Sure, just hire everybody.
I think you'll find buried in the SOPA and the actor documents and dialogue, there'll be the facility there for that.
Oh, of course there is, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, they've got lots of these acts that they've passed in, especially England, we're a lot more paranoid than the Irish are. Yeah. They've already got stuff with internet kill switches and unlimited monitoring and all that kind of stuff. They've got that already.
I read something about them spending, I don't know how many million per minute on monitoring the public.
For what?
Did you read that?
No, it's honestly, crazy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the listeners will disagree, but I personally am not overly convinced that these terrorists actually exist.
No.
I think it's a little bit of 1984 going on there. We're at war with Eurasia or wherever it is, and we're always at war with them.
Absolutely. I think the terrorists exist. I mean,
I'm sure there are a few out there.
I'm one.
You're probably one. Oh, God. What a day to find that out on. Oh, terrible. I was always hoping that I'd find out that I was a terrorist just before I blew myself up.
So what you're saying is then if I happen to be in Galway with my video camera and I catch Enda Kenny with the one hand reaching into the child's buggy and stealing its sweets, and the other hand stealing the pension book off the pensioner. And I said, I've caught him now. I've caught Enda. And I want to show everybody. If there happens to be a Take That song playing in the background,
you're screwed.
I won't be able to.
You could take the audio off, but you wouldn't be able to show it. And that is the killer, And the technology that they've got on YouTube. I used to be a YouTube partner, and you have to go on a copyright awareness course before they make you partner.
It's happened to me every time I upload. If I've got a piece of music, they're immediately telling me.
They're on, and you can go on this course even if you're not a partner. You can just look for it on YouTube Help, and it's interesting because they show you how the technology works. And if somebody's got a TV on in the background, if you're in the foreground talking away about your new hat collection or something. In the background, if you've got a TV on, audio, video, or anything, even with it muted, their technology will pick up that channel. And if it's something that's been registered with them, like Fox News or somebody equally awful, it will immediately flag it.
That's right.
Literally straight away.
Well, it goes to, you shouldn't be talking about anything other than your hat collection anyway. What do you think the internet's for?
It's all about hats.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Beans on toast, knitting.
Oh, right.
What I saw on the
telly. I completely misunderstood it. I'm way off. None of the people I watch ever wear hats.
Yeah. So we'll thank Minister Sherlock for his work anyway. And
maybe we'll Skype him in one day. He seems to have got nothing else to do.
He doesn't. And at some point in the future, I'll be willing to tell my story, but I don't want him to come down and thump me or anything.
No. Well, he can't thump you. He's sat in his hands.
That's true.
It's very hard.
That's true. It's in his hands. Yeah.
Oh, well, right. I think that's going to be it. This is our inaugural episode. We're hopefully going to make this an hour in future when we get some people on for interview and such like. So that is it. My name's Mark, and this is Basil. And we have been talking about, all sorts of stuff. And, we'll try and catch you next time on the Alternative Future Radio Network. And this has been the Out There Hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
There's a man, Sensible Money.
Yeah.
The website. He's got a plan for the economy. He's going to save us.
Excellent.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, that's it for the show today.
Yes, thank you very much.
See you all next week, maybe.
And I've forgotten his name, but he's a lovely fellow.
Right, or we can't name and shame him then.
No.
We can implicate him.
He has promised to come on.
Okay.
Let me think, who else is there? Oh, alternative energy. I can't talk very much about that at the moment. I just need permission from him. But
okay.
It's basically running your house for €100 a year.
That sounds cheap.
Again,
sounds affordable.
It sounds very, very good.
Sounds nice. I'm sure we'll have lots of questions for him on how he's going to do that.
And most definitely, Aisling Fitzgibbons, the anti-fluoride
campaigner
from Kerry.
There's a couple of people out there. Have we also got James lined up, O'Sullivan, for talking about his political system. Is he in the pipework?
The difference between, he is, very soon. The difference between common law and legal jargon, I think.
Yes,
basically. And he has got an idea for running on that.
Brilliant stuff. We're currently not going to be putting out the show live, but in future we might do, because then we can have people calling in. So if somebody listening to this wants to call in, and you can arrange a time with us for when we're recording, currently recording rather than live, then contact us via the website, which is alternativefutureradio.com. There is a contact us button on there. And if you want to come on the radio and talk about, well, whatever it is you want to talk about, whether you're an expert in something or you just want to tell us that we're all wrong, it's all good. So contact us via there, and we'll let you know the next time we're going to be recording, and we can just Skype you into the conversation.
That's it. That's the important thing.
It's like an interactive thing.
We don't judge. We don't censor.
No, there's no censorship at all. Just don't say fuck or bugger.
Yeah, this is what you won't hear on Joe Duffy.
Yeah, I keep saying, who is this Joe Duffy guy? I have no idea.
Gatekeeper, you don't want to know.
All right, okay. I haven't got a gate anyway, so it's good for me.
Any topics for today, Mark?
Well, let me see. I think my favourite topic at the moment has got to be the European Union and the shafting of Ireland and Greece and a few other countries as well by them.
The thing coming up now is the referendum, the treaty.
Manner of different subjects, from UFOs to water fluoridation and everything in between. So,
well, there are a few that have promised to come on.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
shall we name them and shame them and make sure that they have to come on?
That's what I think we should do.
It would be the prudent thing to do. Name and shame the guests in advance.
Well, we're hoping to talk to Celtic Gold.
Celtic Gold, yes.
Gold broker.
Okay.
In Ireland, in the southeast.
Lovely.
Good investment.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
Yeah. And repudiate the debt.
Right.
A campaign.
We should have him on just to explain the word repudiate, I hope.
That's the first step, I think.
I think for me, so.
But I'm getting the impression he doesn't want to pay the debt.
I think that's probably a fairly safe assumption.
Dotted around the country, there are a lot of eco farms and permaculture, is it?
Yeah, you've got a few people lined up who are into permaculture, ecology, sustainable living, all that kind of shenanigans.
And there's quite a few of them going around, and there's a lady in Roscommon, she does workshops, she doesn't charge any money, which is always good.
That's a good price.
Which is always good.
That's one of my favourite prices to pay for anything.
Your own system of government within your own county.
Like a local democracy type system.
Absolutely. I think there could be a lot of merit in that. I don't think he's hammered out the finer details himself yet. But and also, as we're talking about James and Aisling, there will be a couple of talks going on throughout the country over the next couple of weeks. The 21st, I think, in Kerry, and the 24th in Dublin.
Yep.
And there'll be a presentation on fluoride, common law, alternative energy, and a comedian.
Aha.
For a bit of light-hearted relief at the end of it.
Now, do you happen to know where people can find the details for that? That would be part of your in-depth research before we started.
that would be handy.
Yes,
It's on my Facebook page at the moment.
Brilliant. Is there anything people can search for to find your Facebook page?
Basil Powell.
Just search for Basil Powell and look on there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's probably going to be a few sites out there, and maybe we'll link to some in the bottom of this video if we can find them in time.
There's going to be some advertising for it, but hopefully, possibly on Monday, James might come on to tell us more about it and give us more detail.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Alternative Future Radio. This is the Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. And, well, we're going to be discussing all sorts of different subjects. Basil has got a lot of specialities, I've got a few specialities, and between us we've got some that we know nothing about. So we don't really know where we're going to go with this. We've not even picked a topic for today. That's how professional we are. Absolutely no topic whatsoever. Basil, pick a topic from the list, please, quickly before everybody rumbles us.
Perhaps just an introduction of what the show's going to be about.
Okay, well, it's called the Out There Hour. So we're hoping to discuss anything that somebody would say is completely out there.
Yeah, whatever you can't get on mainstream media.
Pretty much, yeah. Probably everything from the and finally stories on the news to stuff that you just won't get on the media at all. We're going to touch things from governments and what they're up to, all the way through to ghosts and poltergeists and fluoride, any funny business,
alternative
energy, the unexplained generally.
Absolutely.
We're hoping to get some guests on the show to talk about